This lesson will discuss using switch. Topics include what is the difference between switch and if, else, else if. When is switch preferred to those three commands? And how would switch be used in a website? Moving to our code example, as you will recall, moving down to the bottom of this example, we had a case where we were examining currency values. On lines 28 through 36, this block of code is rendered in this example as well. We test to see if the currency is euro, else if US dollar, else if Canadian dollar. Notice the block of code starting at line 11 through 23. This is logically equivalent to the if-else if construct. The difference is that we use the word switch, in parentheses, the value that you wish to test. On line 12, 15, and 18, we have a statement case. Following case is the value that you wish to compare to the value that's in parentheses. Bear in mind that the value contained in parentheses could also be an expression. If the currency is euro, the code on line 13 is executed. The rate is set to 1.251. On line 14, we utilize the break statement to stop processing and to branch out of the switch statement, which means PHP will then continue executing on line 24. On line 15, we test to see if the currency is US dollars, in which case the code is executed starting on line 16, followed by a break. Likewise, on line 18, we test to see if the currency is equivalent to Canadian dollars. On line 21, we have a default, which is equivalent to the else clause that you see on line 34. The default is executed if none of the other cases are true. Let's now move over to the browser and have a look at the result. You can see that the result of the two blocks of code is identical. The question then arises, why would you want to use the switch statement as compared to if and else if? The answer is that although they are logically equivalent, many consider the switch statement to be much more readable and much more clear. Bear in mind that as you continue to develop code, days, weeks, and months might go by before you have a chance to review your code. You might find that using the switch statement makes it easier to understand what you were doing when you first wrote the code. However, it should be pointed out that logically the switch statement represented on lines 11 through 23 is the same thing as the if, else, if, and else block represented on lines 28 through 36. In review, what is the difference between switch and if, else, else, if? They are logically the same. When is switch preferred to if, else, else, if? You'd use switch if you find that you have a very large number of else if clauses. Many find that the switch statement is much more readable. How would switch be used in a website? You'd use switch when you have a series of decisions which need to be made on the same criterion. This concludes our discussion of using switch.